And welcome back to the week of Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Clark Kent 45. We'll ask the question, who will win the fight, Edward Cullens or Derek C. Simmons from the Resident Evil series? So let's get this out of the way real quick. Twilight sucks, Edward's a puss. I can't even remember who actually wrote the name of the woman who wrote those, but God, those books suck. Those movies are terrible. Hilarious! Like, great to make fun of, don't get me wrong, but no, just no. Like, no. Anyone who looks at it is like, this is true romance, and I was like, yeah, you are, no. You just, no. All the no. Anyway. So, more or less, Edward is a vampire. Let's start with Edward real quick. Edward is a vampire. He is actually age-wise. I think he's in a couple hundreds at this point. He is one of the main guys in these. He's the love interest. That's all he is. He's got less personality than freaking Bella does. Actually, that's not entirely true. I'll actually go to say he's got more personality than Bella does, because Bella's just no. And I actually don't mind Kristen Stewart. I actually think Kristen Stewart's a pretty solid actress. But no, those did not do anything to endear me to any of those performers. I even come around to Robert Pattinson. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about like the actual characters. And Edward, as a vampire, has the standard list of vampire abilities. He's got enhanced physicality. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get Derek Simmons' list of abilities here. Base mutation abilities, whatever those are, C virus mutation. That's great, but I'm trying to find the actual list of his abilities at the moment. I digress. So, yeah, he's got enhanced physicality, durability, vampirism, the whole shooting. But he's also, all vampires have like a unique ability. in the Twilight universe. Specifically, Edward is actually depicted as being much faster than a normal vampire. So he's got that going for him. He's probably got years of some experience. I don't know if he's ever actually had to train to fight, like if he knows karate or a martial art of some kind. But he does have that on his docket, I'd imagine, theoretically. So I'm trying to find a list of actual powers and abilities for Derek Simmons. So he's got that on his side at least. And sunlight doesn't hurt him like normal vampires because they glitter. I don't recall if garlic is a thing though for them. Is garlic still a thing, or silver? I can't. I mean, we know they can still get killed. Like they're not immortal in the sense that they can't die by like a gunshot would actually still hurt them. For example, a werewolf, for instance, could rip their heads off or something like that and kill them. So yeah, they're nowhere near invincible by any stretch of the means. But that's not even what those books are about. So and look, to be fair to those books, that's not what the books are about. They're not about like fighting in combat. They're not an action book series or anything like that. Hell, even Harry Potter's got more action in there than those do. So take it for what that's worth. Derek Simmons basically mutated by the C virus. The National Security Advisor serves as the final boss of Leon's campaign, Ada's campaign, and Resident Evil 6. He was basically one of the heads of one of the main people for the Umbrella Corporation. He is, as the main boss, he can transform into several giant, basically a Centaur and Tyrannosaurus Rex, each with their own unique abilities. Enhanced physicality right from the get. Give me a second. I'm trying to find a legitimate list of his abilities. You'd think I'd be able to find that a lot easier. All I'm getting is a generalization here. That's the problem I'm having with some of these, that finding the actual abilities isn't as easy as you might think. Like, you go even to, like, the Resident Evil wiki, there's no real, list of his abilities as far as I know. Let me see gameplay here. Maybe that will give me. Okay, yep. Here we go. So the final boss. Okay, the centaur form, so named there, is a quadrupedal canine-like creature. Oh, great. Simmons is fast and powerful. In this state, he reverts to a human form after suffering enough damage, providing an opening for Leon to beat him down. The centaur mutation is the first form that Simmons and him battle, basically. Then you have the dinosaur form. As the sea virus continues to develop within Sims, mutates into a gigantic creature resembling a theropod dinosaur, lacking the unique ability of the centaur's mutation. This form relies solely on brute strength to attack the player, attempting to crush them underfoot and even devour them. The main weak point for this form is the large eyeball located in the theropod's mouth. The exposed sections of flesh on his back are also vulnerable, but the player will have to destroy the protective scales over them first. Simmons can attack a helicopter pilot. He does form. So, yeah, he has that form. Recovery form. After suffering several injuries at the hand of Leon, Helen, and Ada, he shifts to a more humanoid form as he tries to heal his wounds. The mutation is notably less drastic than his prior transformations. His entire body is visible and vulnerable to damage. A mass of bone and muscle emerging from his back appear to weigh him down to the point of immobility. Although this form is his weakest of his mutations, so we're not even going to address that one, quite frankly. Megafly! After consuming the zombies that attempted to feast on him, Simmons mutates into a giant monstrosity resembling a housefly. This form is significantly larger than his prior mutations, including the dinosaur one, and has the ability to spit toxic globs at Leon and Helen. Though Simmons can use his new wings to fly, his huge size limits the advantage of his new maneuverability. Most of his body is protected by a strong exoskeleton, but his eyes are vulnerable to damage, and being shot there also interrupts his attacks. This mutation of Simmons' attacks try to help. Simmons' final form enlarges his mandibles. He goes under one of our mutation into large pincers, and his limbs have become many more times larger and stronger than before. He will use his new limbs to smash the helipad, attempting to crush the player. The pincers will cover his head whenever people fire his eyes, protecting his old weak spots. However, his exposed joints on his limbs are still vulnerable to damage. When one of his limbs are severed, he will try to regenerate by consuming zombies that appear on the helipad. This can be prevented by killing the zombies before he gets to them. So let's just take out for a second even the mutations and just go by the fact that he's already an enhanced physical human. And that vampires, for the most part, while are stronger than, say, your average human, aren't that by much from the little I remember about the Twilight series. So if these two met in a fight, who would win? Well, we don't know if Edward has any legitimate combat experience. The way it's depicted, no, not really. But because Simmons is a member of the Umbrella Corporation and, there's military involved, he probably actually does have training. So, in a straight fight, I think even before transforming, Simmons would have an edge in the fight. These two would duke it out. Simmons maybe even is able to get behind Edward as he grabs him and snap an arm. Kind of belittle him, monologue to him. Edward probably has the speed advantage. I'll give Edward that, certainly. And he can probably use it to avoid it. But remember, this is a fight. No running away allowed. I mean, you can run away and come back and, you set up something. But you can't just run away from the fight because then you're still losing. Honestly, I think where Simmons is actually going to have a problem, surprisingly, is in his mutated forms. They don't really have much abilities, and he reverts back to a human form when taking a lot of damage. The dinosaur form has notable weaknesses, the eye and his soft flesh under the scales. The question would be, would Edward know to go for that? He'd probably figure it out, but that's assuming he doesn't get, ripped limb from limb. And then, you talk about the big bug form, for instance, or his fly form, or housefly form, or his final form with the pincers. That one would probably pose a severe problem because in the game you obviously had the, you got to target this. You don't get that in real life. So how is he to know to target those? Ultimately, it's him fighting a giant monster that I don't think he's just prepared to fight, or whose exoskeleton is probably tougher than he could probably pierce. Even if he goes to the eyes, that's not a guarantee. And then you got the noxious globs of acid. So, these two, duke it out for a while. Ultimately, the big transformation comes, and Edward is just, he maybe aims for the eyes. The final transformation comes, and I can't even hit the eyes. So I don't think Edward really has any way to put down Simmons in those transformed states. Mostly because, again, this is not a game. This is a scenario. So you don't get those target this, target that. You don't get that. So I will ultimately say Simmons gets the win. He's got enough versatility and is probably even just a comparable fighter for Edward to go against in just human form. So I will go Simmons in this fight. Ultimately, though, what do you think? Do you think it's Simmons or do you think it's Edward? Do you think Edward is the greatest ever, period, end of story in terms of fighting? Or do you think it is Simmons who is the greatest ever, period, end of story? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. Hit that bell if you want notifications. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if, anything you do on the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. I ain't just looking over for like Thursday and all that. So, anyway, thanks for watching. See you later.